Hello and welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another review, but this time round it is for something slightly different. As you've seen in the thumbnail, this is for a game called Lonely Mountains Downhill. It's something I actually requested a key for quite some time ago, and as a small YouTuber it is very difficult to get review copies of games. However, I do just want to say a massive thank you to Megagon Games in this case, because they've taken a punt on me here and they've actually sent me this review copy, and this is the first time anyone's done that. So it's a big moment for me, and I've been looking forward to doing this for a little while now. I've been a huge fan of mountain biking games since way back on the PlayStation 2 when I had a copy of Downhill Domination, and I played that game to death, and more recently there's also been Descenders as well. Now, I enjoyed those both very much, and when I heard that this one was going to be coming out soon via a Kickstarter campaign, I couldn't wait to get my hands on it. Now, unfortunately, as this key got sent out to me, I was actually going away on holiday the following day, so I wasn't able to put this review together as soon as I possibly wanted to. I am now back though, and I still wanted to do something with this game, just so I could give you guys an idea of exactly what to expect if you fancied going out and picking it up. And on a more positive note as well, the game is now out, so if you do like it, you don't have to wait for this one. You can just go and grab it straight away on the Xbox, the PlayStation 4, Switch and PC. So let's get on to what the game is actually like though, and I've been playing this for a fair few hours now to get an idea of exactly what's going on and which aspects of the game I really enjoy. First up, you've got the most obvious, which is the visuals, and they've gone for a very simplistic shaded polygon design. It's something we see a lot in indie releases these days, and it is a style that I'm personally a fan of. Now, I appreciate it's not going to be for absolutely everyone, but in this instance it works really well. The whole feel for the game is quite relaxed to a point, but I'll get onto that in a little while. And with the audio and the visuals, you really can just sit down and relax to this game. Now, compare that to the previous mountain biking games that I talked about earlier, and you realise this is a very different game altogether. And it doesn't just stop there. The whole gameplay aspect and the way this game feels is very fresh, and it's not something that I've seen in this particular genre of games before. You have 4 different locations, and each of those has 4 different downhill runs as well, which gives you a total of 16 courses. Now, that might not sound like a great deal, but when you realise how many variations of route you can take down each one of those, it's actually quite a big game, and certainly you can spend a lot of time on each course individually. There are multiple challenges for each of those courses as well, and it always starts off with a nice, gentle and easy just get down the mountain in whatever time you fancy. And that's always a great way to then scope out the mountain, see what's going on, if there's any various routes that you can be taking. Because shortly after that, you're then going to be faced with the more serious challenges, which ramp up in their difficulty as you progress through the game. Now, that is going to see you trying to get down that hill as fast as possible. And there's going to be certain times that if you follow the normal route, you are never going to make it down in the time. So it is all about finding the various routes that you can take down, taking risks, and trust me, you're going to fall off a lot while you're doing this. As you progress through the game, you will be unlocking new bikes which have their own specific statistics, and on top of that there is customization items for your character as well. In terms of the controls, they have given you 2 different options here, and I strongly advise you try out both of them to find out which one works best for you. When I first started playing the game, it did take me a little while to get used to the controls. It's mainly down to the fact that the camera has a predetermined position while you're going down the mountain, and it's quite cinematic, so actually it will move around while you're going down the hill. Sometimes it will be behind the rider, in front of the rider, to the side. It can just move, so actually controlling it feels a little bit unnatural to begin with, but you do soon get used to it, and it definitely helps, like I say, to play around with both different control methods. The first one is actually what I would consider to be the simple option, which is that when you press left, your rider goes left, and right, the rider goes right. But like I say, with the camera moving around, that can feel a little bit strange, but it's definitely what worked best for me. The other option is that you can actually point the directional stick in whatever direction you want the rider to go, which on the face of it sounds a lot easier, but for my brain, for whatever reason, I found it really hard to do it that way. So like I say, just play around with it though and find out what you prefer. The physics within the game feel absolutely superb, and let's be fair, that is what this entire game is based on. Also, the collision detection is working perfectly well, and you always feel like if you make a mistake, it is definitely your fault and not the game. Once you start to master it, it's actually quite impressive just how good it feels when you're sliding around corners, jumping huge gaps, and inevitably smashing into trees as well. They've also hidden a load of secret areas within each of the mountains as well, which you need to find to unlock additional things for your bikes and your riders. So again, there's just more exploration required, and this game really does start to feel quite big once you get past the surface. The audio in the game is absolutely superb, and that sounds quite funny because there isn't a great deal of it. You're up the mountain on your own, so you don't expect there to be the sounds of any other life whatsoever. However, what they've got right here is the sound of the bike, the way it skids. Just the bike rolling along makes all the right noises, and it really draws you into the game. I think overall the game is really a game of two halves. It really depends how you want to play it. You can take it really relaxed, just enjoy going down the hill and taking your time with it, not falling off too much and just enjoying the sounds, enjoying the sights. However, on the flip side, you have the challenge side of the game, and you need to be flying down that mountain as fast as you possibly can, inevitably smashing into loads of different things. But when you get it just right, it can be so rewarding. It's definitely fair to say with the time I have played with the game, I've had a real love-hate relationship with it, and I think that is the whole idea. I've enjoyed it when it's been going well, but equally, a bit like Trials and Trials Fusion, those kind of games, when it's hard, it is super hard, and you end up making the same mistakes over and over again, but you finally master it, and you feel like an absolute god when you do, and that is the real charm of this game. Pretty easy to pick up and incredibly hard to master. I think if you go for this, you're going to get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And if you relish a challenge, you definitely won't be disappointed. So overall, this game kind of ticks every box available. It's definitely very different from any other mountain biking game I've ever played before. And if it's something that interests you, then definitely go out there and try it out. However, I will give you this word of warning. If you don't like a challenge, then you're probably not going to get all the way through this game. However, if you do get a bit of enjoyment out of sitting there and potentially swearing at the TV as you keep smashing into that same rock, that same tree over and over again, then you're going to get bags of fun out of this game. And if you do finally get it right, there is no better feeling than when you master a mountain and beat all the challenges they've given you. Make sure you use that comment section down below to let me know if you've picked this one up or if you're planning on doing so. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you've enjoyed today's video. This one is a little bit different from what I normally do here, but equally take a look through my other stuff. You might find something you enjoy, and tickle that like button. It really makes me happy when you do. Thanks for stopping by today. Happy biking, and I'll see you on the next one.